Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about making money as a freelance writer, how you can actually make money as a freelance writer, and how you can make more money as a freelance writer. So much money, in fact, that you'll never go back to an in-house position ever again. Money. It's an awkward topic, isn't it? We don't like to talk about money. Freelancers especially don't like to talk about money, and writers especially don't like to talk about money. So today we're going to talk about money, how you can actually make money and how you can make more money as a freelancer. Really basic, simple things like what the average freelancer charges, what you should be charging, pricing models that will actually help you make money instead of losing it all the time, and just a few basic tips, places you can go for resources and training and advice and stuff. I was recently chatting to a mate who had gone freelance, and that person told me that they had to give up and go back to an in-house position because they weren't making, they couldn't afford to be freelance basically. And I just thought, fuck. Let's talk about how to know how much to charge as a freelance writer. This is something that I googled when I went freelance because I had no fucking idea what other people are charging, and in all my research what it transpired is that there is no set price for how much people are willing to pay for a freelance writer or copywriter or blogger. It differs depending on who you're working with as to how much they personally feel is reasonable to pay for freelance writing. For me, the best place to start with finding out how much to charge as a newbie freelancer was to work out what the company I came from had already valued me at. So I took my salary from the place I was at before and I kind of broke it down. What would that be per day? What would that be per hour? Okay, that's a good place to start. So that's where I started, and quickly I bumped it up from there when I realised that actually I could. As I've said before in my video on going freelance, which I'll link for you up there in case you're interested, is that my main goal when I went freelance was to make the same as I was getting at my in-house position, and that was my first and foremost goal, to make sure that I could keep myself afloat making the same amount of money, which I managed to do very quickly. And that's when I realised, bitch, this thing has legs on it. Why are you setting your goals here when you could set them here? You get me? So that's the first place for you to start. How much were you making in-house? You can work from there. Also, I would recommend checking out ProCopywriters. They are a paid membership organisation for commercial writers in the UK. They hold the most bitchin' copywriting conference every year. I'll include details for you below. The people that run it are fucking awesome. Through a 2018 survey of freelance writers, they managed to ascertain that the average day rate of a UK copywriter is about £340. So if you're already charging less than that, you've got to up your game. Also, when you're doing your research, it might be useful if you know you have a very definite niche, such as you are a tech blogger, or you specialise in writing product page copy, or you specialise in working with agencies, you are an agency writer of ad copy. Go out and see if you can find other writers from that niche and just figure out what are they charging, what's the base rate for them, and you can kind of orientate yourself from there. So those are three really awesome places you can start when you're figuring out how much it is that you should be charging based on your experience and your expertise. Next up, let's talk pricing models. This is something I got massively wrong when I started freelancing, and I very quickly learned that it was the wrong thing to do through chats with other freelancers that I had. My friend Ettie Holland, I'll link her details for you below. We were chatting just casually at some event, and she started telling me how she priced things, and I was like, holy shit, this chick knows her stuff. I need to take a leaf out of her book. And I took a leaf out of her book, and now I earn more money just based off of the back of that casual conversation. So basically, pricing models. How are you going to charge your clients? The most highly recommended way through pro-copywriters and through discussions I've had with other writers and how I myself like to work, is that you charge by project. Now, I was chatting to another friend about this, and she will charge per company based on how much time she thinks it's going to take for that particular project and that particular company. Do you think that you've got it pretty much down already and it's not going to take a lot of research or a lot of amendments or a lot of really in-depth nitty-gritty stuff that's very time consuming? So you need to consider that when you are giving them a price. Also, what's the list of deliverables? How much information have they already given you in the brief? How much time do you want to spend with them in-house? This is all stuff you're going to need to weigh up before you price the project. So take it all into consideration before you do that. I also find it very helpful, because I do a lot of blogging, is to price it up in nice little packages and bundles so that they know just exactly how much they need to pay each time. For example, if they want a 500-word blog post on something I'm very comfortable writing about, that shit's not going to take me very long at all, is it? So I'm going to earn less money from that, even though I am still writing 500 words. Whereas if they want a 500-word blog post on something I have absolutely no fucking idea about, but they're a regular client and they won't use anyone else and it needs to be me that writes it, that's going to take forever. I'm going to make a loss on it because there's that expectation that it will only take me X amount of hours based on all the other ones, and they're going to say, well, it doesn't normally take you this long. So what I like to do is create an average length of time per word for the blog posts. Another good way to charge is with a day rate. So if I'm working long term with a particular client, I block them out a day and I say, just give me everything. Everything you need to do, just give me everything and I'll go through it and I'll smash granny out of it. So that's another really good way to charge if you can't do a project or a kind of bundle fee. Absolutely do not charge in the following ways. Working for free on anything, including consultations and calls and amendments. Do not ever work for free or for exposure. That's bullshit. Exposure doesn't pay the bills, and as my good friend Vicky Ross likes to say, freelancers are not free. Do not charge per word unless you're a journalist from 10 years ago. My next tip is going to be talking about money and how we negotiate with the client and talk to them about money. Talking about money. Just looping all the way back round to the beginning of the video, talking about money. I really sucked like hard at this until I had a conversation with Andy Maslen. I have been one of his students in the past. Andy is an absolutely bitchin' copywriter and he does courses. And I met him off of the back of a course that he'd done on being a well-paid freelancer, details of which I will link below. I don't work for Andy or get commission on this, I just think that he's badass. And he gave me just a couple of tips in conversation and they were so massively helpful that I can only imagine what people are learning on his course, to be honest. But he said you need to learn to talk about money as if it's no big deal. So basically you need to say to yourself over and over again what your day rate is or what's the budget, and you need to look at yourself in the mirror and you need to keep saying it until you stop saying it like a little bitch. Andy didn't use the words like a little bitch, that was me, but I mean, it's all relative, isn't it? So get really comfortable with talking about money and telling people about money. I have said this several times in the past. I've even done a video on it up there which I'll link, and a blog post down there which I'll link, about weak words and appearing meek and apologetic and uncertain when talking to clients, when asking for feedback, when trying to book meetings, when prospecting with them and cold pitching with them. And it's the same with money. If you go into the conversation really hesitant, like, oh, well, I thought that I could charge this, but if it's too much, you do not do that when you're talking about money. You don't automatically go in with an offer to renegotiate for less or anything. And that's what I used to do. I used to tell people my day rate and then apologise for it straight away and offer to discount it. Like, what the fuck was I thinking? So at the end of this rambling rant, what I'm basically trying to say is that you need to get comfortable talking about money. Don't immediately go in with a negotiation or with an apology. You tell them the rate, and if it's not quite within their budget, find out what the budget is and then tell them how much you can deliver within that budget, for example. And if they really, really don't want to pay you, don't fucking work with them. Send them packing. You know? They'll find another writer, and if they don't, they'll learn that copy deserves to be paid for. So there we go. That's how to set your prices, set your pricing model, talk about money, and things you should never, ever, ever do. I hope you found this useful here today. If you do have any questions for me, you can put them in the comment box below, or you can find me on Twitter at @EJCownley. Being a freelancer is not a limitation on how much you can earn. It's not, oh fuck, I need to get jobs or I'll have no money. It's basically, you can earn as much fucking money as you want. When you're freelance, you can earn just exactly as much money as you want. It's all within your control, and that's why it's badass to be freelance. So yeah, I hope this was useful. You can find me back here, same time, same place, in 2 weeks for more Kiss My A's. When you give me your Q's and I give you my A's. Until then, take care and have an awesome couple of weeks.